All right. And get everyone in here. All right. How's it going, everybody? See if I can hear everything okay. Let's get my speaker on here. That should be a little bit better. Can you hear me okay? Yes, awesome. Hi, Holly. Hi, Lee. Hi, Perez. We'll get a few people jumping in here, but I just wanted to check in, see what's going on. Today's Guts role play. So we're going to kind of go through a couple things. I wanted to also share an interesting video and kind of break it down for those that are doing wholesaling, right? So I'm a wholesaler here, as you can see on my shirt. And so that means I get deals under contract and then I sell the contract. And there's a certain way to do that. One of the strategies that people have been using a lot recently is what they call like a retail buyer strategy, selling on the MLS, or some people use novations. The idea is just being extremely transparent with the seller, getting their permission to do that. And I'm going to be sharing a little video from a mastermind I was in on Thursday and Friday. And this gentleman that I'm going to be sharing the video of, his name is Heath. He is an acquisition specialist for Sean Terry. And during this role play, or during this role play of going from a low cash offer to flipping it to a retail buyer offer where he gets permission from the seller to put the property on MLS, he gets notified that his deal that he just locked up just closed and funded for $106,000 profit. So I think it'd be good to learn a little bit about what he does. What do you guys think? That'd be kind of cool. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this logged in real quick, and I'll share this. But in the meantime, I just want to see if anyone has any questions as we jump into role plays and kind of share a little bit about what the Guts sales methodology is and how to use it.
Recording in progress.
All right, so be large as 0, stay co-host. All right, let me see if this will be able to share. We got a few more people to let in here too. You guys get to see all my videos. You guys don't need to see all these. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Let me hit pause. And if you can, as I play this, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear his voice. It's going to be a little bit hard to hear, so you may want to turn it up a little bit. But I'm going to hit play. Just give me a thumbs up if you hear it. If you don't hear it, wave at me and tell me no.
You guys are going in, you run your numbers, you've got your cash figures, they're pretty low.
Okay.
So the idea is to create a psychological anchor that you know that, hey, there's a reason these are low. And so what I do is I'll come in and let's say the numbers are going to be 200,000 where we want to sell the house for, right? And we're going to offer them 100,000. We know that they're not going to take that because they want like 1/3, let's just say. So I come in and I say, hey, Mr. Seller, take a look. I talk about, we're at the very end, and I said, well, listen, if we're looking at a cash offer, you want to close quickly, right? Yes. Great. And you want to, put, get this done and get this as fast as we can. Right now, our cash investors, the prices that you've been approved for is looking at right around 100,000. Okay. So we can get that done quick, get you closed, get funds wired to you 30 days on or before, and we'll knock it out for you. How's that sound? Immediately, they're going to be like, ooh. They're just like, that sucks. I need way more than that. That's not going to work. I'm like, okay, well, tell me about that. What's going on? Let them tell you, what's my problem? Well, I gotta pay my mortgage off, that's $120,000, it's not gonna work, plus I wanted money to move, and I wanna, okay, so, ideally, we need to pay your mortgage off, so that cash price is just not gonna work for you, that's fine. What else would you like to pay off? Like, what do you need? I don't ask what you want, what do you need? You need to pay that off, great. You need money to move, cool, what do you think? $5,000, okay. So 120, 125, what else? Is there anything else I need to pay off? No, but I'd like, 10 grand. Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you could do with 135 and that would be a home run for you. Yes. Okay, look, I have an idea. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't even know if I can get you qualified, because you probably has to qualify. But if I could get you more money, let me ask you a question. Are you a little bit flexible on your time frame? Well, what do you mean? Well, what if it wasn't 30 days? Let's say it's 45 business days on or before. You got a little bit more time to let me work for you? Sure, okay. Here's what I'm thinking. We have a new program that we've changed because of the way the market's happened. What we do is called our retail buyer program, and it's designed to give you the best of both worlds. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna broadcast your home to our investors network, all the buyers that we've built up, 20 years we've been in business or whatever, you can say, hey, we've got a lot of people we work with that buy homes. But we're also gonna piggyback that with a full-blown listing on the MLS, absolutely free of charge to you. So we're gonna get that many more eyes, that many more buyers that are interested in your property. And here's how it works. We cover most, if not all, of the closing costs for you. There's no commissions you have to pay. And it's not like a traditional listing, meaning you don't have to do the repairs. You don't have to paint, clean your carpets, clean your windows. Don't do any of that. We'll do it all for you. If we could do that, if I can get you approved, is there any reason that you wouldn't say yes to that? Immediately they're thinking, well, of course I will. Great. Tell you what, let me run this back, maybe put them on hold, something. Check this out. I think we could probably get you like 137. How's that sound? And they're gonna be like, oh my God. And here's the caveat. There are some requirements. Grab a pen. They're immediately grabbing a pen. Okay, there's some conditions to qualify. First and foremost, I'm gonna need pictures of your home. Do you have some pictures you can send me? Oh yeah, no problem. Great. Second thing, I'm gonna need you to work with me and give me authorization to allow our partners and our people on the ground to come to your home periodically. You okay with that? Yes, I'm good with that. Okay. Third thing is we are listing. So periodically we will have realtors or whomever that will show up. As long as you're okay with us scheduling a time to work with you, are you okay with that? Yes. Okay. Tell you what, I get this kind of agreement. I never say contract. I say, if I can get you an agreement right now for 137 today, let's go through it together. I'll answer any questions, show you exactly how it works. What's your email address? And then just go. Don't ask, don't wait. Just assume that that's what you're doing. And you're like, hey, I'm gonna send an email. Is this your email? Great. Are you at a computer? Oh, you got your phone? Great, pull that up. Let's walk through it. Let me answer any questions you have because I wanna show you exactly how this works. Renee is phenomenal at this. She will walk through line by line. They literally don't have any questions about how the contract works because she goes through it. By the time they're done, and they're just signing as you go, they're doing a DocuSign, you walk them through the retail program, you walk them through the attorney in fact saying, hey, this page gives us the authorization to do just what we said, market, broadcast your home on the MLS for the purpose of sale. Fair enough? Great. We're gonna do, what do we do? Authorization. That allows us to order payoffs for you. It allows us to open escrow, or title, do all the heavy lifting. Fair enough? Cool. Great. Last one is like, this is just to make sure you're of sound mind, that you're not intoxicated or no one's making you, twisting your arm. You good with that? Huh?
Your $106,000 deal just funded.
Congratulations. I'm excited. Now we just need Sean to write me a check. Well, and then by the time you're done, what I like to do is I like to sprinkle in, hey, are you gonna need a little bit more time to move after we close? Would you need that, or are you gonna be good beforehand? More often than not, they say, yeah, but you know what I'm gonna do for you? I'm gonna toss in a post-possession, gives you extra 15 days, no no charge, you stay in the property, move at your convenience. When you hand me the keys, we'll wire the rest of the funds to you. Easy enough? And they love that. They're like, oh my God, I can stay for 2 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, take your time, move. Fair enough? And then you're on their side. You're like, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm your wingman all the way through the end of this process. I'll be calling you weekly. We'll be touching bases. Have my partners get a hold of you. But I'm your guy, and we're gonna get to know each other real well. So when you see my number, pick it up. You know what I mean? You call them. On a Friday, call them to shoot the breeze, see how it's going. How are you? How's the kids? Get that relationship. The more buy-in they have from you, the more they'll trust you, and the more they'll follow you through the end of the process. So, but that's that pivot. You're like, I don't know, maybe, what if?
All right. Let me jump out of there. All right. So what'd you think about that way that he presented that pitch? What were your thoughts on that?
Was very streamlined. They put them on a conveyor belt, just have them try to have the seller stop you instead of being the other way around.
Yeah, it was I saw someone said very smooth. That Lee says retail buyer profits method. Yeah. This is a strategy that a lot of wholesalers are using, because you got to understand a lot of hedge funds have pulled out, right? They're not buying anymore. A lot of the fix and flip buyers are sitting on the sidelines. Some of the landlord buyers are sitting on the sidelines too. So when, I always think of when it comes to cash buyers, I want 5 types of buyers on my buyers list. Those 5 types of buyers are the fix and flip buyers, the landlord buyers. Those are my top 2 typically. Hedge funds, real estate agents, because they have access to all these people above here, and other wholesalers. So what's interesting is with this retail buyer method, you're getting the buy-in from the homeowners to get permission to not only send it out to your list of investor buyers, but also use any buyers out there, even retail buyers and even traditional mortgages and stuff, which opens up a lot more buyers to your buyers pool. And it allows you to sell at a much higher price. To give you an understanding, after this mastermind, what I found out is the average wholesale price from these folks that are doing these strategies are around $20,000 to $22,000. That's phenomenal. That's a great wholesale fee. The average retail buyer, whenever they go and get permission to list on the property, is literally double that. More than $40,000 spread. So the way that they're presenting this is they're giving the low cash offer first, right? And they're giving them justification for that low cash offer. And it's something about psychologically anchoring that seller to that lower price. And then saying, but we have this other opportunity. I'm not sure if your house qualifies. What does that phrase mean? Psychologically, what does that phrase mean?
Scarcity.
What do you mean by that?
Scarcity.
Scarcity. Yeah. Scarcity. Yeah. So like, I'm not sure, right? Not sure this is going to work, but if it does, what would you want to do? Well, I want that one. It's a higher price, seems better. It may take a few more days. It may take a little bit longer. Are you okay with that? You may have to do a little bit more work. But what's interesting is what they're finding out is a lot more sellers are on board, because what you're doing, you're getting permission to list a property. You're taking the offers from the sellers. You're making any of the repairs if needed, or giving credit at closing. And you're just making the difference from the sales price to what you got it under contract with the sellers. So it's very much like a double closing or an assignment, except you're just subtracting all the closing fees out of that. And that was what leaves your profit on that. And the deals are almost double or more than double than traditional wholesale fees. But what I liked is I wanted to show Heath. Heath is the guy who's doing this. And if you notice that he just got notification that his biggest deal yet just closed, $106,000. What is that? What would that do for you to, I mean, that's a big number. My biggest number before this, I think, was like 88,000. So, I mean, that's like life-changing money for some people. That changes a lot of things, But it goes back to the highest and best paid profession, which is in sales. So what were the things that when we watching that video and understanding how the gut sales method works, what were some things that he used in that pitch? Rodrigo, you mentioned scarcity, right? What were some other things that he used in that conversation? Was he a desperate buyer? So frame control wise, he actually kept that frame. When it comes to the closing, he uses phrases like, fair enough. What do you want to do next? What's next, right? Exactly how Claude phrases this stuff. You're making the sellers close you, not the other way around. And a lot of it is you're presenting opportunities and options. And one of the things that Heath does, and I know Claude does, and Sean Terry does, a lot of people do this almost subliminally, is they push the seller away. They don't seem desperate because what they're talking about in that conversation is, well, why don't you just list the property? Why don't you just keep it? It looks like a nice place. Have you thought about just renting it? So they're going through these options, right? And they're making the seller say no to all those options. So whenever they finally present their option is the best one. Lee says takeaway close, fear of loss. Yeah. And also the one thing that's very important that he did, and I don't think we always do enough, especially when we're in a position to try to get a deal, is understanding who is the decision makers, right? Is the decision maker going to be just the person you're talking to, or is there a spouse involved? I don't know about you. Has anyone ever got to the closing table where they thought they had a deal? They talked to the person just to be told like, oh, well, I got to talk to my wife.
That happened to me this morning, Brandon.
That did?
Exactly those exact same words.
So what do you do to stay in front of that, to jump in front of that? What's a question you can ask?
You're gonna have to tell me because I blanked out right.
Is there anyone else in the decision-making process we should talk with? Do we need to talk to a spouse, to a business partner, anyone else that we need to involve on our conversation before we move forward? One of my friends, Steve Trank, he's a big sales trainer too, follows a similar method to Guts. It's called Sandler, but it's basically a lot of sales-based training. Yeah, so Lee said, anyone else listed on title? I like that. That's good too. But he'll reschedule an appointment. He will not even, if he's at the house, knocks on the door at the house, husband's there, but the wife's not there. If they cannot get the wife on a speakerphone or on a Zoom call, he'll peace out, leave, and reschedule. Now, most of us, Claude included, myself and Justin, we do all this over the phone with a laptop and a cell phone. So we don't really go to appointments anymore. There may be on occasion, once in a while, if I really want to, I will, but almost everything I do is virtual. It's all just done over the phone or over my laptop. And a lot of times this, if you think about it, it just saves you time, saves you exhaustion and stress and emotional stress. So that's part of the rules of Guts, is making sure that everyone that's involved on the conversation or in that decision-making process is there. Lee says, I love it. Kirby Vacuum Sales perfected the reschedule appointment. Oh, I'd love to hear about that, Lee. What do they do? Are you able to chime in and unmute yourself?
Hey, Brandon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, that was taught probably 30 years ago now, where that if they had scheduled an appointment and the sales guys went to the house for the demo and both decision makers weren't there, they would literally not even come in the house. They would be furious and reschedule it. And they perfected that because the appointment setters, that was their sole job, was to make sure that both decision makers were there. So they started that years ago.
And that's so important. For appointment setters, if you're having like lead managers or virtual assistants or people help schedule appointments for you, That's really good. What are some other things we think we should know before? I mean, the worst thing is doing the whole premature presentation, right? We're doing this whole presentation and both decision makers aren't there, or maybe they don't have the ability to make that commitment. We had an interesting one yesterday. A lead came through. The lead manager did a great job, asked the right questions, but he's sneaky. It was another wholesaler submitted a deal, and he pretended to be a real estate agent, or pretended to be like a real estate agent or someone that had the power of attorney. Because the appointment setter said, well, do you have power of attorney? Are you an agent? Yeah, I have power of attorney. And that wasn't true, right? He was just a wholesaler that actually had the deal under contract, was trying to submit the deal through our website to get a cash offer. So sometimes things sneak by, but a lot of times whenever you're having those decisions, you know, if you've been in the business long enough, you can start to sniff out, you know, someone that's being truthful or not, and be blunt, be upfront. It's hard for me sometimes to be super blunt and super upfront, but I'm telling you, it saves you so much time and heartache and stress. The worst is you go through the whole process and you get right to the end and the closing, and then they pull the rug out from under you. They don't even have the right to make that decision. So that's really cool. What are some other rules of guts that we should consider? Well, we got 3 people in the waiting room here. So we want to make sure all the decision makers are there. We want to make sure that they have the ability to make a decision. Do we give a presentation? Do we go through our host spiel if they can't make a decision today?
No.
Yeah, put them in follow-up. You know, don't stress out. The worst is going through that process and understanding that you're wasting a lot of time. Part of a really good salesperson's job is to qualify that client or that suspect, you know, or that potential client in 3 minutes or less. Claude always has this little three-minute timer. I have one too on my desk. There it is. Like, within 3 minutes, we should be able to ask a couple questions and know if we can move forward. And this, we either are going to spend more time because they're qualified to make that decision and we can move forward with our presentation, or we're going to end the call and maybe send them something that's nice as like a follow-up email or an ebook or something to kind of move forward. But you're not going to spend a lot of time to try to sell someone that's not ready to be sold or has the ability to be sold. That's a big thing. I was just at another investor's office, the #1 Keller Williams office in Arizona. And they also happen to be one of the largest wholesaling companies in the nation too. And what they do is they qualify. And most of their job is to see who's not a person to talk to. That's what they're screening out, the people not to talk to, get them out of the way so they can focus on the people that they need to talk to. So I thought that was really, really interesting, just watching them work. It was really amazing. Let's do some role plays. How about that? And by the way, I want to practice this retail buyer idea, right? So our cash offer is low here. We're anchoring with a low cash offer. Maybe it's through comps and some justified offers. But if they allow us to go retail and use the MLS as well, we can pay a little bit more. And if they're able to work with us on that. So who wants to practice this pitch? Rodrigo, you up for it, buddy?
I'm up for it. I just
Okay.
I really like this type of pitch. I've been using it a lot recently.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah. I've been working with companies, and that's what, remember how I told you I was reaching out to like wholesaler groups on Reddit and stuff like that. And a bunch of companies have had a lot of these, they call them tire kickers, but I just think they're just a little bit above price. And we use a strategy, which novation, I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. Yeah. So now what I'm finding, so in the old school days, they just did an option. if you don't want to do a novation, just do an option agreement. It's the same as the purchase agreement. What they're doing is they are actually getting what's called an attorney of fact, or and some people use a power of attorney. There's some debate on this, by the way. Basically, you're getting signed permission from the homeowner to list the property, because in some states and some areas, the MLS won't allow Rodrigo, who has an option or a contract on the property, to list it, which, to be honest, I haven't had any issues. I've done lease options. And if you have a lease option on property, you have an option to buy it. You're legally allowed to market and advertise that deal. So Jack he's passed away, but he was one of the biggest options guy. And the way that he would figure out, he just did a simple formula. Most real estate agents make about 3% commissions, right? Some may 3 to 4 if they're really, high-end luxury homes. But most of the time it's 3% for the listing agent. And so what Jack Miller used to do is, instead of being a listing agent, he wanted to get an option on the property for 6 months, just like a listing agreement. And then he would maybe, if he had to do some work or clean it up, he may spend a little money out of his own pocket to do that. But then he went and listed the property. And his goal was to make about 10% profit. So he wanted to make about 10% profit, and he wanted about 10% for negotiations and closing costs and commissions to the buyer's agent. So his rule of thumb was to buy around 80% of retail. So here's retail, nice house. Basically, you want to focus. These are not homes that need a lot of work. These are typically nicer homes that are easy to go on the MLS and easy to move into. So when you're qualifying these retail ones, you want to kind of go retail, and at least 80% of that number or lower. We actually try to shoot for 70% and below. And it just gives you a little more room, a little more profit. And by the way, when you sell it, you want to list the property. You want to be the lowest listed property available in that whole area. So, all right, let's role play on this, Rodrigo.
Let's do it.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, I just calling you back about my property I'm trying to sell.
Yeah, Brandon, how are you, man? Do you have a couple minutes to talk right now? Are you free?
I have a few minutes to talk right now. I'm
Okay,
gonna get ready to jump on the jet and go be a judge at this bikini contest, but I have a few minutes still.
Oh, nice. Hey, I hope you can share some videos and pictures after that. Hey, man. Well, look, the reason I was calling you today is I know last time we spoke, you didn't really like the offer that we were able to come up with. But since we've spoken, I was able to submit your property to our concierge program. This is kind of a white glove service we offer. I'm actually pretty surprised you got approved. Essentially what this program is, like I said, is the concierge.
Okay, hold on. Time out right there for a second. Listen to some of the, by the way, Rodrigo, I can tell you've done this more than once.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things, Kenneth, and I don't know if Aaron, I don't know if you guys can chime in, or Guillermo. What are some things that he said right off the bat when he's doing this follow-up call?
You've been approved.
I'm surprised you've qualified.
I'm surprised. Oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? You're going into this with enthusiasm, right? Enthusiasm, if you look at the definition of enthusiasm, it's godlike. It means like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't believe you got approved. And I know you weren't happy with the cash offer we gave you, but I want back and I want to work for you. And I got approval for this next program. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, Brandon. So I'm actually pretty surprised you got approved for this program. So essentially what our concierge service is throughout the years, we've been in business for over 20 years in the Valley. We've actually done quite a few amount of deals. And through those deals, we've created a great network of people who were able to, they're able to come to us for us to source them a property, right? Mm-hmm. What they do is they end up paying us to find them a property just like yours with the numbers that you're looking for. So like I said, since this is a property that doesn't fit our criteria and our business structure, we want to still go ahead and help you and basically connect you with our investor buyer, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to have quite a few people that are already qualified that we've vetted and we have seen perform. come through and take a look at your property and see if it's the right fit for them at your number, right? We want to basically be able to see if this is something that's going to be able to work. It seems like you last spoke to me. You wanted somewhere around 200,000.
Mhm.
The beautiful thing about this program is not only can we get you that, we can also get you a 10K bonus for being able to allow us to help you find the right fit with your property.
Okay. Real quick. So I think you did really good. What I think there's a little bit worse out about the investor and stuff like that. So say it again, but just say, look, here, you got approved and it's going to do two things. One is we're going to bring it to our pool of investors, and we're also going to be able to bring it to the retail market as well by putting on the MLS with your permission. There's going to be a couple things we need from you. So you need to get buy-in from them if we give you this higher number. So let's try that real quick.
Hey, Brandon. So we're going to need only a couple of things from you to be able to get this to work.
Okay, now how much is my offer again?
Actually, it's going to be 210,000.
Wow, that's a lot better. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Like I'm telling you, I was in a meeting for about an hour and a half with the team, and we were looking, like I said, to really help you out here. And we were all really surprised your property qualified for a program.
Oh, wow. So not all the properties qualify then, huh?
No, I usually see 1 of 30 properties we input qualify.
Okay. Wow, that's great news. Okay, so what do you need from me?
Yeah, so like I said, we need your authorization to basically market this property to the people who come to us and look for these properties. And
Right.
as we only need you to be on board to knowing that your property is going to close in a little bit longer time frame, which is going to be about 45 to 65 days. But you're going to get every penny that we're talking about, 210,000.
Let's do it. That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you like to do next, Brandon?
I don't know. What do you need from me? Do you need me to sign some paperwork or something?
Well, first of all, we would like to start getting some pictures from the property as possible.
Okay.
I know right now, to get the process started, that's one of the prerequisites we need are the pictures. And then also we need to start the paperwork, which I can have my assistant start drafting up and sending out to you.
Mhm.
So how quick do you want to get started, Brandon?
Yeah, like today, if we can, that'd be great.
Okay, perfect. My transaction team might be a little clogged up. Like I said, we do tons of deals, and we can get this done. But I will only send this out today if you can guarantee me that I'm gonna get this back today as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it right now if you send it over.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell my assistant to drop everything she's doing and just start to work on this immediately. Send this out in the next 10 minutes and
Okay.
go ahead and start the process then.
So
Right
I'm going
now-
to give you a good job on this, Rodrigo. Great job. And this is for everyone on any contracts. If I give you a little suggestion that will make your close rate go through the roof, is stay on the phone with them when you send them the paperwork. Go through the paperwork with them. Answer any questions as they're going through this. Make sure they're signing it, initialing it as you're on the phone with them, because it's better for you just to get this and flush out any concerns right then and there, and take time with it. Some people want to read through it, right? So you need to be able to be familiar with your paperwork and answer questions. But I guarantee you, sometimes, I don't know if anyone has found this, but sometimes everything sounds good while you're on the phone, then you hang up, then you can't get them back on the phone. Or you're following up like, hey, did you sign that yet? Like you send them email reminders, like, please sign, and you'll see your close ratio go a lot higher if you just stay on the phone with them and walk through the documents as they e-sign and initial and date everything. So I just found that out the hard way.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So this is a different pitch, right? This is a little bit different going retail. Basically doing wholesale deals on the MLS, selling your deals on the MLS. Has anyone done this before? Rodrigo has. Okay.
We started doing it over with Thomas, actually, over with Thomas and them. We
Yeah.
started it out there. And right now I know that they've been pretty successful as well, with like a lot of my friends that are still there. They told me that I'm ramping that up, the innovations.
It is, I've been very reluctant, and I have been so slow to jump on this train because I'm so used to doing things a certain way, right? But what I've noticed, if you talk to people, you talk to successful people, people have been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. If you follow the same chocolate chip cookie recipe that they give you on the back of the Nestle chocolate chip cookies, your cookies are going to turn out pretty good. If you try to change that recipe and throw in your own ingredients and cook at a different temperature and do things differently, they're probably not going to be the same. They may not taste the same. They may not be as good. And I'm telling you, whenever you learn from people like Claude and Justin, myself, Sean, Terry, people have been out there doing this stuff for a long time, and you follow proven strategies that work, your cookies will turn out delicious. And this is why we role play and stuff like this. So I want to just see, does anyone have any questions about this strategy? Because this is a little bit new strategy. So a lot of us have done wholesaling before, but maybe not wholesaling with permission to list.
Brandon, I have a really good contract.
Yeah, go ahead, Rodrigo. And then Kenneth, you go after Rodrigo.
My bad. I just wanted to give you guys a hookup. I have a pretty good contract for this. It includes the AIF in the purchase and sell agreement. So like it's all one together, but it's still it still identifies it really sternly in the verbiage. So I just wanted to drop that in here.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do too is I'm going to put my phone number on here, and it's 480-818. Oops, hold on. Not 6467, 6460. Hold on. Let me change that. 64. Okay. So 480-818-6460. If you text me, that's my Google Voice number. Text me 480-818-6460 and just say retail buyer program. I will send you the same contract. Rodrigo, if you want to share yours too, you can do that. I have the same purchase agreement, the attorney of fact, and the authorization form that I use, and I will be glad to share that with everyone as well. As my gift to you for attending this. Just text me today, 480-818-6460. I'll give you that contract. It gives you the AB contract, the attorney of fact, what basically is giving you permission to list the property from the seller, and then authorization form so you can get the payoffs and stuff like that and talk to it. Helps streamline the process for the title company and for the closing attorneys. So, and by the way, this is a program that I'm using a nationwide company too that's doing a lot of these transactions. Was there a question there? Sorry.
That's okay. I wanted to ask, as far as the LTV, how do you calculate these? I mean, the way you can make money, do you just go on top of the price you're looking for? Or, I mean, because you have to calculate it where there's some profit there for you to make money, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
how do you calculate them?
I use a pretty simple calculator. Sean Terry created a simple calculator, and the one I use is pretty much identical to that. It's basically you just figure out what the average is between like PropStream, Redfin, and Zillow. Figure out what that average is, right?
Okay.
And you got to figure out what you do a percentage, 50, 60, or 70%, depending on if you're in a hot market or not. The hotter the market, the higher you go. The slower the market or more rural the market, the lower you go. So more 50% for rural markets, 70% for hot markets, right? But you're subtracting also the estimated repairs. And I usually use $10 a square foot, $15 a square foot, or $20 a square foot, depending on if it's light, minimal stuff. If it just needs some updates, that's $15 a square foot. If it needs a lot of work, then I go $20 a foot and higher.
Okay.
So, if it's 1,500 square feet, I just multiply that by, say, $15 a square foot. That's my estimated repair. So whatever the average of those three numbers are, the Zillow, PropStream, and Redfin, take the average of those, do 70% of that number, subtract that repairs, and then subtract your profit. And I suggest to start at the $40,000. and then work your way down. The reason why I say $40,000 is sometimes you're gonna have to lower that price if it's been on the MLS for too long. So you need to have some wiggle room there. Okay.
Okay.
But a lot of these, you can even push the price in some of these markets. As really, if you really want, I'll tell you what, Aaron, you gave me a really good insight. So I'm gonna share with you guys after I answer Kenneth's question. I'll share with you how I can quickly give you a quick offer just by looking at the active and listed properties in a market using Redfin. I use that as my baseline, and then I just subtract my 40 grand, right, that I want to make. And then I subtract roughly 10% in closing costs and commissions.
Okay.
And if it needs repair, you got to kind of calculate. You always, here's the biggest thing in all wholesaling, most people don't go low enough. Most people don't go low enough. Whenever I would train sales guys and I give them a number, right? And I try to see if they're coming up with the same number I'm coming up with, because the way I'm training them, if they come with the same number I'm coming up with, and then I make them offer that low ball number, even though we have some wiggle room. When they make that offer, I know they're ready. They have the confidence, they have the ability to do it. So, Kenneth, what was your question?
Very, very quick. I just wanted to find out a little bit more about the retail buyer program. However, the tangent that you're on right now, I'm more interested in that.
Okay. Well, we can kind of, I can kind of walk you through that, and then I can share a little bit about this real quick too. So let's say, does anyone have an address or a property that they want to look at?
Well, let me
Guillermo
ask you
has
this.
one.
Okay.
Guillermo, you want to throw the address in the chat there? All right. All right. I'm gonna share my screen to everyone so you can see what I'm doing here. This sounds so simple. It really is. All right. So right now we're seeing Redfin. What's the value on Redfin right now? 321, right? So I'm gonna use this zip code right here. I'm gonna throw that in the right up here. And this is all the properties in that zip code. What I want to do is I want to see what, if I'm on Redfin, I'm looking at active and pendings. I guess I can leave the coming soons in there. That's fine. But I want to see, let's say, by the way, do you know on yours, Guillermo? Let me pull up that address one more time. It's going to be 10 West Lewis Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to pull up on Zillow real quick so I can see it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. So I want to make sure that the house, it's a house. Oops. Go back here. So it's a house, home type, house. And then I'll put 3-bed, 2-bath here. And I can also do the table here. So I can see what the highest and lowest is. So really quick, the lowest is what, 299. And I just want to see what this looks like if our house is gonna, this one is a carport. That one has a 1-car garage, but it is a 1,064 square feet. If I want to adjust this a little bit, I can change the square footage right here too. So let's just keep it within about 10% of that number. I'll do 1,200 like that. All right, so we're still, so is that one? We had that one that was like 299. That one disappeared. So it must have been a much smaller square foot. Let me see if that one, let me take that off real quick. We're missing one. Hold on a second. I want to see what that one that was really at 299 with this. That's 1,524 square feet. This one's been on for 100 days. I don't know why. Excellent opportunity purchase. Oh, it needs a lot of work. It needs TLC. This home is being sold as is, so that's why it's cheap. Let's see what the condition is, and we got to make sure that our property is in better shape than this one, or we got to price it below this one. Okay, looks dated. This would be like a $20 square foot, $30 square foot rehab probably. So depending on this property, this is the subject property. I don't know what the pictures look like. This is going to be look at all the cars here. Wow. All right. So on this, I need to be under that 299 most likely right here. In order to sell.
Can I ask you something, Brandon?
Yeah.
Now, for different locations, you got to have a different price per square foot because the cost is different in each location, isn't it?
Yeah, that you bring up a good point, because like in California, depending on the finishes and stuff, you need a match for that area, right? So you need to understand what that is. Typically, $15 a square foot is a good average, and then you go higher if it's a little more expensive, and you go lower only if it doesn't need as much work.
Okay.
So I usually start right around $15 a square foot. So our property, it looks like it's right about 1,000 square feet, right? So let's assume at least 15. This may be a $20 square foot rehab, right? Looks like they just bought it last year for $174. We know that we gotta list this under $299. We want to be the cheapest around. So if we're going to list it at $199, we're assuming it's going to be, say, $20 a square foot, $20,000 for repairs. So that gives us from, say, 300 minus 20,000, that's 280,000. Let's say we want to make $40,000 profit, right? So that will be 280 minus 40, it's 240 now. And I would probably start close to that 200 to 220 mark and I would go up as high as 240. Or 230 actually. I'd probably be right between 230, 240 at the absolute highest if I can. And then I can turn around and list this for like 289. Right. So I just want to be the cheapest in the whole area because you don't want it sitting. Okay, so seller asking 248. So it's just, I think you can get them pretty close to that, Guillermo. I would try to get it at 240, 235. Like I would start my cash offer around 200. Hey, looks like we're going to give you a cash offer at 200,000. Hey, good news. I don't know if you're probably qualified, but I'm going to submit this, see if it qualifies. Can you hold on a second? If this qualifies, I might be able to get you a little bit more money. Do you mind me holding on and see if this will work? And I can tell you a little bit about that program. Sure. So what we do is we use our investment, our list of cash investment buyers, but also we also use retail buyers in the MLS to get the best price for your property as possible. We usually just need a little bit more time, between 45 to 60 days to do that. And if I can do that and come a lot closer to your asking price of 248, what should we do then? Well, I'd be interested in that. Okay, so you got buy-ins, right? You're doing little commitments along the way, trying to get them to buy in. Now you're going to put them on hold, and you come back and you say, "Look, great news! I can't believe it. You got approved for the retail buyer program or concierge service. So we're going to cover all closing costs. We're not going to have any commissions, and you're going to walk away with a net cash price of $236,500. What do you say about that?" You say it with that enthusiasm, as if they're going to accept it, right? And you know you can go up a little bit more. If they say yes, boom, great. I'm sending over the paperwork now. Let me walk you through this. You got a few minutes, and now you get them to sign while you're on the phone. Now that price, they wanted 248, you're getting like 235, 236. You list it, and you list it at 289 or 295 even, right? So now you make that difference minus the closing costs and commissions, right? So that's the key, is you want to have a little wiggle room there. The worst is having to renegotiate. That's not fun. So this is some good role plays. Rodrigo, I'm glad you got some experience in this. This is good. This is something that majority of wholesalers aren't even using or utilizing. It's literally doubling their profits.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really good tactic.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this, Brandon?
Yeah.
As far as the realtor that you want to list it for you, if you're not a realtor yourself, how do you pick the best one that you know can get it sold quickly?
Great question. I go to realtor.com. I try to find out who the best realtors are. One of the transaction companies I'm working with, his name is David Olds, it's easy REI closings. And they have a lot of connections in those different states. But you can also use flat fee listing companies like Broker List and stuff like that. So you can pay a flat fee and have it listed. And then you just take all the calls.
Okay.
The other thing too is there's a mobile notary service that we've been using. It's called Notable Notaries and Notarize. So Notable Notaries and Notarize. Not only will they notarize paperwork for you, right, which you need to do a lot of times to do these type of deals, but the other thing is they'll go take pictures of the properties for you.
Oh, okay.
Throw them a little extra cheddar. They'll go and get 30 to 40 pictures for you. And you don't even have to and say, look, this is how I want it done. Can you mind doing a couple pictures of each bedroom, front of the house, back of the house, the good, the bad, the ugly? Boom, you're done. So yeah. Let me go ahead and I'll give you Notarize. I think it's called Notarize. Hold on, notarize.com. There it is. Let me share my screen with you real quick. I'll give you a couple of these. These are some good little connections that I pay good money to go to these masterminds to find out that I just like to share them with you guys. So that's one. Then it's Notable Notaries. Let's see, there it is right here. Boom. So those are really, really helpful for that too. So, all right. So make sure if you want to get a copy of this paperwork that includes the attorney in fact, the authorization form, just shoot me a text at 480-818-6460 and just say retail buyer program contracts, and I will send that to you.
Brandon, it was letting me send it here in the chat. I sent it to you on Boxer, so you can check it out.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, I sent it to you on Boxer because it didn't let me like do the Google Doc tag on here on the chat. It said that said that you weren't on it, but it's all good. Just check it out if you like that contract. I like using that one because it's all of it together and it's fairly simple. But I mean, both of them are really good. Like you said, once they start feel
free to share it here if you want, Rodrigo, if you had the link. That's okay.
No, I did. I tried to, but it wasn't letting me.
Oh, it wasn't letting you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know why. That's interesting.
I just texted you. I texted you the link on Boxer. Maybe if you can.
Okay, let me see if I can open it up here before we wrap up here. Yeah, and I'm glad for those of you that missed the video at the beginning. This is also streaming live on YouTube on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see the video of Heath doing the simple role play. While he's doing the role play, he just got notified that he closed on a deal for $106,000 profit. So I don't care where you come from. That is a big chunk of change. That's some good stuff there. All right, I see your Google Doc here. Let me see. It's saying I need access. So I think you got to share. You got to edit the share to where anyone can view it.
Oh, okay, here I'm on it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, can you check it again? I just updated the permission.
Yep, I sure will. Try this now. Can you send me a new link? I think it's still doing that. I
Okay.
think it needs to be a different link.
Okay, just
And by the way, while we're waiting for that, any questions from anyone?
sent out.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I have one question, Brandon.
Okay, go
In
ahead.
Illinois, is that an issue in Illinois? How would you structure it in Illinois? Would you have to double close it, or how would you do it in Illinois?
Okay, so this is what's interesting because Illinois and some of these states, so people do it in Illinois. And so I just say, just check with your special attorney in Illinois, but I'm not giving legal advice. Okay. But I know people that have
Okay.
done this in Illinois. And basically, because what you're doing is you're not double closing, right?
Mhm.
You're actually not even assigning the document.
Okay.
Because in
Okay.
Illinois, you can't assign, you can assign one a year, right?
Right.
And then otherwise you have to double close everything. So basically what it is you're if you do it the full way, you actually record notice of interest on the property, right? And then you
Okay.
release the notice of interest. So it's like recording a loan or a mortgage on the property, right? And then you
Okay.
release that at closing. You get paid at closing to release that. So it's
Okay, I
not
got
even
you.
an assignment. So
So
Hey,
yeah, it shouldn't be no issue with that then at all. And that document that you give us, I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask a few more questions. That document that you give us, when you go down to the recorder of deed, you have to show that information for them to record it then, right? With the contract?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
All right, there's the contract from Rodrigo. Everyone just you should be able to open it, then make a copy to edit it. Yeah, he said check out this title company, titleclearing.net. Yep, there's a couple nationwide title companies that understand this. This is something new, right? And to be frank with you, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't know how long this way of doing deals is going to last. They may put the kibosh on it, like they're trying to put the kibosh on assignments in some states too. So this may be forever. This may be around forever. This may be around for another couple of years, or maybe around for another year or 6 months in some states. So I don't know. But, get why the getting's good.
Yeah,
So
I'm betting they're gonna try to axe this within the next couple of years in attorney states.
you know what, though? I don't know if they really can, because if you think about it, like, let's say that you're in the military, Rodrigo, right? And I'm your brother and you want to sell your property and list it. Well, you can sign a attorney-in-fact or power of attorney for me to go and do that for you on your behalf.
Yeah,
So,
but
the idea is on the paperwork, on the contract that I use and stuff, you're basically just trying to spell out, look, you're in this to make a profit. You're going to make a profit. And if it's very clean, and the biggest thing is disclose, right? And one of the attorneys, Scott Horn, that's in Texas, he does these too. He consults people with this. The key is just let the seller know exactly what's happening. Don't lie. Be upfront. Tell them exactly how it's going, that you're going to make a profit. And it's okay. Like, you're allowed to make a profit, folks. And you're allowed to get paid very well for this, because you're saving them time, you're saving them money, and they're getting pretty much the numbers that they're looking to get anyway for the property. So, well, cool. Again, if just shoot me a text at 480-818-6460. I'll send you my paperwork as well. And yeah, thanks for jumping on the call today, everybody. See ya.
Yeah.